Hello guys, it's me, Kolo The Wise, and today I'll show you how to upgrade your power-ups in Vampire Survivors when you're just leveling. So when gold is scarce, when you want to get faster to the next upgrade in order to survive longer and to farm more gold. And there are two ways of doing this. One is the way that I did it when I was leveling up, because I thought that surviving longer will mean I will get much more money, which is true, but you can also go for the economy upgrades. So let's start with the first type of upgrades, the one that I did, and that is for powers. So let's say that I want to get more power, I want to survive longer. I do not have that much gold, especially in the beginning. I didn't have that much gold because I didn't survive that long compared to how long I survived after I took these upgrades. So I started with might because I thought to myself, more damage equals more enemies killed equals more time spent alive. I don't I don't recommend buying might in the beginning. I don't think it's one of the best upgrades you can take. I think that cooldown is actually better in the long run. Amount is again way better. I think that luck also and area are far better upgrades. But let's say that you finally got, I don't know, 200 gold, you got one might, and then you survive longer because of that 5% per rank damage. So you get 5 more percent. Let's say you kill some more enemies. But for if you want to resist longer, I would suggest you keep all of your gold until you get to 5,000 to get amount, because you get one more projectile, and you also, if you also get duplicator, that means you'll get 3 more projectiles, which is a lot, especially when you don't have upgrades. More projectiles is always better, and even at high end, more projectiles means that's way better for you. So let's say I would take amount, and then what next? What do you take? Do you take cooldown? Do you take area, magnet, might? Maybe you take growth if you want to get more experience. And growth is a good choice because you want to level up faster to get more weapons. So after a month, I would actually go for growth, but you will have to pay quite a lot of money. So let's say you pay 1k now, 2k now, 3.5k now. That's already 6.5k, 5k now. So like you have to pay a lot of money. Let's say that maybe you feel the difference between before and after buying this, but let's pick again the amount. I would suggest you go for cooldown because you use your weapons faster. Maybe you don't have the weapons as fast as you want, but you'll use them faster, and it's only 3k and it's doable. After that, I would go for something like area because it's pretty cheap and it has only 2 upgrades, so it costs like 1 point something k. And with this upgrade, you can actually use more weapons more efficiently. So King's Bible, garlic, axes, like most weapons have benefits from taking this. Speed, not really. Armor, not really. Maybe you can take armor if you feel like you can't dodge the enemies. Maybe you can take max health if you want to survive longer, or recovery if you feel like you take damage way too often and you want to restore your HP. But I think that armor, max health, and recovery and speed are not that good. Movement speed, again, it's not that good. Luck, it's actually pretty okay, but if you don't do 30-minute runs, luck will not be on your side. Revival, it's way too expensive and kind of useless, because maybe yes, you die once, you revive, but then you'll do the same because you don't have the experience, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the other upgrades that would keep you alive. And for the 4th upgrade, I think I would actually go for a magnet, because you don't have to get as close as you had to get before to get the experience, and you can actually keep a safe distance from you and the enemies when taking experience. It's safer, it's a much safer way of playing the game. And I will ignore reroll and skip, not only because they're expensive, especially the reroll, but because you're not at the level at which you know how to build something. You're still learning the weapons and the items. You're still learning what to do, how all the things work together, and these ones are for people that already know what to do, that they have a path in mind, that they want to get to some point. You just want to get gold, survive, and then rerun and so on. As the fifth upgrade, I think now I would actually go for something like either duration, if your playstyle is like King's Bible or Santa Water, or now actually Song of Mana, because it's a new weapon that just arrived on beta. I don't know when it will get to the live build, but still. Or Might, because it gives you more damage. So now you kind of know what weapons are, like at this point, and this damage will actually help you get through more stages of the game, through more bosses. You'll get to kill more enemies. Either this, or you can go for greed. So at this point, you can go for damage, growth, or greed. You can go for damage and actually be sure that you kill all your enemies, or you can go for greed, especially since you now have the all these like amount, cooldown, area, magnets. So let's say you go for greed, and this one will cost you around, I don't know, maybe 4,000 gold or 5,000 gold. I don't remember how much it was. Which is doable. After greed, you can take growth. But remember, take greed only if you can actually survive longer. Greed is actually much more worth it when you kill a lot of bosses and when you get to all your weapons and items maxed out, because it's only at that point in the game where you actually farm gold a lot. After greed, if you don't have trouble surviving and getting all your items and getting to maxing them out, which is like at maybe 20 minutes and so on, you would go for growth if you have problems with that. But if you don't, I would go for might. And let's take might. And now you have all these upgrades left. I think now I won't take curse because it's expensive, and it actually increases the difficulty, which you don't really want. You want a safer game actually. You don't want a more challenging game because you're still in the beginning. For you it's challenging enough already, so we won't take that, but instead we will take growth. If you feel like you can afford it, if you feel like you can farm it, sure, take it, because as you've seen it, that's like 25k gold there. If not, you can go for something else like speed, duration, or luck. I think that duration is better. I think curse would be the last one. At this point you can take movement speed if you want to get further away from enemies or getting closer to them, depending on what type of playstyle you have. You can take speed to make your projectiles faster. You can take armor or recovery, but I would go for speed because I like faster projectiles. I would go for movement speed, and after that I would go for luck. And I ignore all of these three because my playstyle usually, especially in the beginning, it was not very dangerous. I dodged a lot. I tried to stay as much as I could away from enemies. And so I think luck is best, because at some point I started doing 30-minute runs, and this actually helped whenever I was getting chests and so on. After this you can upgrade all of them in any order you want. I think I would start with the armor because it's more expensive and max health. So let's say that you I bought revival. So let's say that you upgraded everything except curse, revival, reroll, and skip. What do you do now? Do you refund and start your path with revival because it's the most expensive one, and then go for reroll, skip? No, I actually wouldn't. I would tune up the curse. I wouldn't buy revival, even though I did here because of a simple mistake. But I would go for curse. I would increase the difficulty. I would increase the enemy speed, health, quantity, and frequency. You may look at these three things like enemy speed, health, and quantity and frequency actually like a bad thing, but it's actually good. You level up faster, you get more kills, you get more more gold at the end and so on. You actually finish the level faster and to get to the AFK part of the game. So I would actually increase this. After this, I still wouldn't buy revival, or maybe if you feel like you need revival, you can buy it, but I would go for the reroll. I would actually go for reroll. And now I don't have enough money to buy because it was not an optimal way of buying upgrades, but that's basically the way. And now the best way to farm, I think it would be, it's still greed, it's still amount. If you know you can get to 30 minutes per run, if you know you can resist and actually get to the chest parts, I would actually say go for greed. I wouldn't tune up the curse yet. After that, after having amount and greed, I would go for growth. Because, and this is only for people that are experienced or are experienced in this type of game and know they can survive. If you don't think you can survive without having like cooldown power-ups and so on, do not start like this. This is one of those builds that you make when you're sure about your skills and when you know that you'll survive. After that, I would go for cooldown, I would go for luck, I would go for magnet, I would go for movement speed because you want to move throughout the map to get the experience and to get to all the items that are on the map. I would go for area and duration. And then after all of this, I will actually tune up curse. I would increase the challenge of the enemies because I want to get more experience. I want to get more money from them. And after this, you're still leveling up. I would buy might. I would buy speed. I would buy recovery, not max health and then armor, or armor and then recovery, and then go for rerolls and skip max health. And again, revival is the last. So revival is basically one of those power-ups that you buy when you have enough money already and you want to have the most optimal way of building your upgrades. But I don't see revival as being one of the best upgrades. I mean, for me at least. Maybe for some it was because it saved them. It actually saved a couple of runs. It actually made them past the 25-minute mark, which is a pretty substantial stage in the game. But I don't see it as being that, I don't know, that good for me. Again, it could be good for someone, not for me. That's all I had to say about revival. I think it's a decent enough upgrade, but it's too expensive. It's not really that good compared to others, compared to curse, amount, cooldown and so on. I don't think it, I mean, I understand why it costs that much, but I don't think it deserves to be bought in the beginning, especially as a first upgrade when you're leveling up. You might be tempted to because you think to yourself that maybe when you revive will do better, but I don't advise buying it, especially when you're leveling up. You can have a much better upgrade path. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have another opinion, if you leveled up differently, if you have another path on how to upgrade whenever you're leveling up and whenever you're getting gold, when gold is scarce, just tell me in the comments below. I try to read all of them, and that's like 1 or 2 comments at the moment. And thank to all the people that comments. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. See you later and stay wise.